We come out and left out together. We discharged together.
Oh, wow. Did you stay in touch with them?
No, they went on into Alabama. Well, I come on bound to Arkansas, the far city. They went on into Alabama. They were gonna come back one day to see me, and then we never did get to go. I went through there where they lived. I don't find nothing.
Yeah. Do you have a specific story that comes to mind when you think about them that you can share with me?
What?
A story about the guys, or
We'd always run around together. Always out on that water together with that old truck. We was at what time we was standing guard and doing that. Well, we was doing that. That's what we was doing.
Just working hard or playing hard? Huh?
Playing hard, working hard. We played hard, boy. We
running around
hard.
in the Japanese truck that you took from them.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what your favorite snack or place to eat, something to eat that you ate back then? Whenever you got a chance, like, oh, I can't wait to get, pizza or burger, or do you remember some food?
To do that, you'd have to get back. You'd have to get back to the state so you could do that.
Yeah. And what would you get? What was the first thing you remember you wanted when you got back?
When I got home, Mom and them had chicken and had a dang old raisin pie. And that's all we got over there, a dang raisin pie over there.
Oh, you didn't want no raisin pie.
I didn't want no raisin pie. I remember that really very well.
But is the fried chicken?
Yeah, it was fried chicken. Yeah. And she raised, that was home raised chicken too. That wasn't one of these old bought things you out here was bought.
Okay. Is there anything that you missed about those days? Being single?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Anything you want to share?
Well, I missed a lot of things back in that time that now that we had then. It isn't near like it was then. It's better then than it is now. Because you didn't have too much, but what you did have, it went just about as far as what you got now than what you got now. It wasn't much then.
And things were built to last back then.
That's right. That's right. What you bought, it was made. It wasn't put together.
Okay. What was your most common way of getting news? Was it the radio, newspaper, word of mouth?
Radio.
Radio.
I don't never ever see a newspaper. I didn't never read a newspaper nohow. I made a look at it, but that's it. I don't read the fool around with one of them.
Yeah. So you listened to the radio, and that's how you got your news and information? Yeah. Did you have, you didn't have a TV set back then, did you?
No, there wasn't no thing as TV.
I know they didn't come out till like 1946 after the war.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to give you a few phrases, and just tell me what comes to mind when I tell you these words. Winston Churchill. You know who that was? The Prime Minister of England?
1941.
That's what you remember? The Iron Curtain speech?
Yeah, he was in the bunch. Churchill. See, Churchill was the same as these guys going overseas now. That these quiet on other states and talk to them. That's what he does.
Yeah. But I mean, did you have a good, favorable thoughts of him, or?
I never did talk to him.
No, I know he was a politician, but
yeah,
it's like did y'all like him or didn't like him?
Yeah, he was all right. He was all right. He was good.
Okay. And what comes to mind when you hear Hitler?
War.
Just war. What about Jackie Robinson? You know who that is?
I don't remember too much about Jackie Robinson.
He was the first black man to have a contract in Major League Baseball.
He was a good ball player. He was a good ball player.
Okay.
But I like baseball.
And Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
He was good.
Good man.
Good man, yes he was.
And he died in April of 1945, and then
Yeah.
Truman took office.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then, what'd you think about Truman? I know he was active when you were 21,
Truman?
but...
Yeah, Truman got good. He had his fault, but he's still good.
Okay.
You know, well, everybody's got their fault, but they still got some good in them somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
That's what?
Nagasaki and Hiroshima, that was the cities that the
The
bombs
Japanese.
were dropped. Mm-hmm. That the bombs were dropped on.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one. That's the one you had China said they tied this down the coconut tree. We had to cut the top out of it to get it out of there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was back when we hit Guam.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we was doing. They'd tie themselves up in that coconut tree.
The Japanese?
Yeah, and fired us. And we, when they do that, then we just turn up a sea gun loose on that tree and just cut the top out of it.
Oh, goodness. Okay. And something that was real popular back then was victory gardens. You know what I'm talking about? Victory gardens, the people back home, while the men were all overseas, the people back here was victory gardens, and they grew their own vegetables and all that kind of thing. So the troops would have enough food and they would sustain themselves. And that was a big popular thing back then. Did you know of anybody who had those? Or I think Diana still has one, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And George.
My mama raised one. My mama raised one. It covered about an acre.
Wow. She's feeding a lot of people?
She's done it every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you could sell it. You could sell it, and all the things people eat it. That's all the way they got shut over there, put over the hogs.
Mm-hmm.
Raised butter, milk, all that kind of stuff. But you couldn't get shut of it. Eggs, you couldn't get shut of them. You couldn't give eggs away. These people had too many of them.
And being in the military, did you know about the rationing and everything?
Oh, right. It came rations, see rations, sure. We had them.
Well, I mean, they had the rations back home, and that's
Sure, they had the rations on gas and all that stuff back here.
And,
Yeah.
and you know, a lot of people were doing that to save money and help the troops and all
Yeah.
that. So
Oh, yeah.
I think it was an extraordinary time.
Yes, sir.
What about you? What do you think about the women coming into the workforce? They had a Rosie the Riveter was real popular back then as an icon of someone who, of the women who went into the workforce and did what, you know, man jobs.
Yeah, they did that. They did that. Well, there wasn't no men here to do it.
Right.
It ain't like it is now.
Right.
There's all kinds of people here now to do it, but there wasn't none then. There wasn't no, because if